So I quit my 9 to 5 to become a full-time content creator.
You might have been hurt, babe.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Aisha and I am a full-time beauty and lifestyle content creator. And I'm pretty sure you're here because you want to know the journey as to how I became a full-time content creator after leaving my 9 to 5 literally 8 weeks ago. So if you're a content creator and interested in doing this job full-time, stick around and I will share my experiences with you guys. So to make this really digestible, I split this into 5 parts: the educational foundation, internships and early experience, my first social media job, skill development, and then my transition to full-time content creation. So starting off with educational foundation. So when I was at university, I studied media and communications, and in doing so, I learned so much regarding both the media industry, media journalism, media sociology, and then the practical side to media. So that was a lot of videography, photography, learning how to record audio for radio, etc. And speaking of radio, I actually had one of my extracurricular classes was to host a radio show, which I did for about a year and a bit with one of my friends. It was fantastic. Absolutely loved the experience. And in doing that, I really kind of set a placeholder in terms of what I knew I wanted to do as a future career. When I started university, I literally wrote in my personal statement that I want to be a TV presenter. And I think I kind of hit the ground running with that. Kind of knew that being in front of the camera was something that I wanted to do. I just didn't know what exactly. So a little bit further into my experience at university, I did a lot of presenting of live shows at ACSs. Whenever there was an artist that had new music releases, I would be the host for that. And I think I kind of just got used to the idea of taking this career seriously. I really enjoyed it. Now this leads me on to step 2, which is internships and early experiences. After I graduated, I worked in a retail job literally straight after. I wasn't one of those people who was lucky enough to get a grad job instantly after university. That wasn't me. However, I did give myself a year to get myself an industry job. So whilst I was working in retail, I signed up for 2 internships that were based in Atlanta, Georgia. One was for a radio station and one was for a social media marketing agency. And I did these internships, I want to say for 6 months, both of them at the same time, as well as having a part-time job in retail, which was a lot at the time, but I was just so steadfast in wanting to pursue this career. And you may be asking, why did I choose internships that were based out in Atlanta? I had massive prospects of pursuing my media career in America. I have family who live out in Atlanta, and my cousin was so encouraging to me of, being a British girl and potentially moving to Atlanta and becoming a creator, and how much that would bode well with the American audience, kind of like a Patricia Bright. So yeah, I took a lot of inspo from that and I kind of ran with that and tried to make it work. However, when the end of the 6-month period of my internship came to a close, I basically asked if they would be interested in potentially sponsoring me for a visa so I could work out there. They both said no. And rather than that knocking me back for 6, it actually motivated me more. And so I turned my eye to working in central London. So I spent the next 1 to 2 months after being turned down for my visa looking for a role that was in London. And luckily I came across my very first industry job, which was working for a media marketing agency called MG. And we'll get a little bit more into that in our next part, which is my first media job. So a little bit under a year of me graduating, I secured my first media job. I worked for an agency called MG, and my role was as a social media marketing assistant. It was very much the bottom of the dog pile job. I mean, that's a really bad way to look at it, but basically it's just an entry level job. You would work your way to the top. And so yeah, when I joined, I was a complete rookie. I knew nothing about marketing. I knew everything about social media. I learned a lot in that role regarding marketing, how things are marketed, and the best thing of the job, my client was Estee Lauder companies. And if you're a beauty girl, You will know Estee Lauder Companies is probably one of the biggest beauty brands in the world. And so for 2.5 years, I looked after their brands, whether that was MAC main brand, Bobbi Brown, Glam Glow, and Bumble and Bumble. There were so many brands that I looked after in my time whilst I was there. And I learned so much experience in that job in terms of marketing. And whilst I was working the job, I remember being in a meeting one day and seeing like the videos that we were going to be posting live on the brand's social channel. And I remember watching it and thinking, oh my God, that looks so cool. I'd love to be the person that makes the beauty content, you know, like for these brands. And out of inspiration from that, I decided to make my own brand. I started a skincare line and started shooting my own content for my brand. And this is where I really fell in love with content creation, from making it for my brand. And then it kind of melted its way into my own social profile. And that's when I kind of started becoming what we kind of see now as the content creator. Now, as we were coming up to about 2.5 years of me working at MG, I did kind of feel a bit stagnant. I knew that I was having another promotion up and coming, which I was excited for. But I think I also kind of wanted to be honest with myself, as I was at a point where I was like, you know what, I really enjoy this content creation thing. I think it could be a thing. But the push really came from my old manager, who had seen a job ad on LinkedIn that basically a brand was looking for a content creator to join their team, or 2 content creators to join their team, to basically help them with promoting their products, filming content, etc. And that was Rimmel London. And so she sent me the link. I signed up for the job, and after I think I went through 2 stages of the interview process, and I luckily got the job. So I worked at Rimmel London for 2 and a bit years. I really did enjoy the role in terms of like the job. Like, it brought so much skill set to me as a creator and as a person. I definitely feel like I learned so much in terms of like how to speak to people, how to sell products online, how to demonstrate product application, how to have good setup, how to have good lighting. But yeah, I think everything other than that, like, that's the main experience that I got from Rimmel, and I'm incredibly grateful that I was able to get that opportunity and the skills from being in the role. Didn't have the best experience, but I really do feel like I'm very happy that I was able to learn so much whilst I was there before leaving. So as we move on to step 5, which is transitioning to a full-time content creator, I think it must have been a 1.5 years into the role, I kind of realized that there is a lot of potential here. By that point, I'd gone on 2 brand trips. I'd been able to be on photo shoots with brands and be the face of their products. I was working really, really closely with brands that existed on TikTok, because there was a lot of restrictions with me working at Rimmel. There were certain brands I couldn't work with. There were also so many brands that I could, but 9 times out of 10, they were like the drugstore brands, and so I couldn't actually work with them. So yeah, there were a bit of restrictions there. And I think when I realized that, you know, if I'm not restricted and there's so much potential, and I've made so many relationships with both creators and brands in this space, and it wasn't until January of this year I kind of gave myself steps in order to make the decision to leave and pursue content creation full time. And this really fell on 3 main things. So the first thing was making sure that I was able to generate income that was more than what I was paid in my monthly wage. That was so important for me, because it was like, well, I do this job to get my wage, and my wage is what keeps me going. And so my thought process was, well, if I can earn more than my wage, then that would confirm that I wouldn't need this job. 2 was to do that consistently. So not just having a really good month and then that be it, and then the next month not be good. It was like, no, being on my ball, being on game, and making sure that I was consistently making an income that was consistent. And 3 was taking the risk. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. Like, it was a very difficult decision for me to make. For those of you who know or may follow me on TikTok, I've shared my grief journey about me losing my mum 2 years ago and me raising my siblings. It was a very difficult decision, because it's like, well, I'm not just making this decision for me, I'm making this decision for my family. So it did take me a bit of time to kind of convince myself to kind of like do it. You know, so many incredible things have happened in that time, from being invited to events like the Beauty Beat and being asked to be a host and talk about my experience with TikTok and TikTok Shop, and encouraging other Black creators how they can monetize on the platform. I've also been able to get my makeup done by some incredible people, made by Mitchell being one of them, being able to go on one of his lives, his iconic lives, which was fantastic. I also had the opportunity to go on a couple of brand trips this year, some really big ones that mean so much to me, from going on my second one with one of my favorite brands, the Beauty Crop, being able to go to New Orleans with TikTok to celebrate Black excellence at the Essence Festival. Absolutely incredible. And probably one of my most proudest moments so far, being able to go on the Benefit Global brand trip and meeting some of the most amazing creators. Like, these were all things that were confirmation to me that although I don't have millions and millions of subscribers and followers online, there is still potential for me to do this. And that is ultimately what helped me make my decision to transitioning from working full-time as a content creator for a brand to working full-time as a content creator and me being the brand. So that's been my journey up until this point recently. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I am only 8 weeks into doing this, and to be fair, it is going pretty well so far. I just need to get myself into like a steady schedule, but it's okay. I know that I will learn the ropes over time. I can't be too hard on myself. I haven't been doing this long, and I haven't been self-employed that long either. If you guys do have any questions, please feel free to leave them down below. I'd be more than happy to answer them. I know there's quite a lot of us who are trying to go on this content creator journey, and I would love to help advise you guys. I know I've been there where I started out and, you know, not getting any likes, not getting any views, and it's completely fine. You will get there eventually. And always believe in your craft. That is such an important part. If you believe in what you do and what you create, everyone else is going to believe in it too. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe if you're not already. Thank you so much for chilling out with me and hearing out my story. Many more videos coming soon, and I will speak to you all very soon. Bye.